Who minds the table from it?
Welcome estranged viewers and newcomers alike. It's time for another developer diary, and just in time too, because I'm pretty sure the last one was supposed to come out 6 months ago.
Sorry, I'm late. Horrible nightmare visions.
It's called life, Dib. Sit down.
While it has been a long time, it hasn't been a waste of time, because in the last few months I've gotten a bunch of cool things done. I'll admit, a little interspersed and hard to track sometimes, but cool things nonetheless. The RTX video should already be on the YouTube channel by the time this video comes up, so fingers crossed for that one. And I've got an announcement thing I have to do, news I've got to share. In general, I'm pretty excited for this dev diary. You know, it's been a while and a bunch of cool things have happened, so obviously I'm excited to share that with people. So rather than listen to me tell you about all the things that I'm excited to share, why don't I start telling you about the things I want to share. So sit back, relax, and thanks for putting up with the intro, but hopefully by the end of the video, you'll be as excited as I was when I started this video, because I'm probably going to be more excited at the end of the video. It's not really news at this point. I'm pretty sure I told everyone but the YouTube about this, because once I had gotten the news, I wanted to make a video about what we were going to do next, and then I realized I had no idea what that was. So I needed to talk with Alex, and things got in the way, and obviously that video never came out. So, whether you do or don't know, Ubisoft and I have been trying to work out a way to release this mod without me getting sued by $1 million company and giving the respect towards them and Arcane and everybody going in, because it is a reverse engineering effort. And it's been very stressful, because obviously there might be some compromises in there as they write up these legal guidelines of, well, will I be able to open source it? Will I be able to release it in this state? Do I have to rewrite the code? All that stuff. But I am ecstatic and excited to say that we've basically been given a blank check. And I say basically only because we want to maintain that respect we've been given. To quote Ubisoft, okay, they do not want anything to get in the way of our work. They want the community to see the value of our efforts for what they are. And needless to say,
I'm jacked.
I'm jacked to the test!
Good.
I mean, I say this every single time, and it's true every single time I say it, and I'm going to keep saying it every single time I can in the future, but we would not be here without you guys, without that community support, without the presence you guys have had. Nothing has gone unnoticed. You have no idea how powerful it is to walk into a room and tell people, yeah, I got hundreds of people that love this game 15 plus years later as much as I do. We all want the same thing. Help us bring that to them. Help us bring that to the fans that this game still has. And to have that be not only recognized, but to have that respect reciprocated is nothing short of astounding. And I can express all the gratitude in the world. Me personally, this is a big deal. You know, I've been working on this for years. And to have that little boost every single time from you guys, it helps so much. But this is really where this payoff starts coming in, because now we can actually deliver the stuff we've been working on. We can do closed alpha testing of the co-op mod. We can be more transparent with the SDK, see if our approaches are, you know, easy to work with, or maybe we want to focus in specific areas, for example, the weapons or NPC creation, because that's what people want. Even tools that don't really fit the scope of what we're working on, you know, for example, the RTX mod, which we'll get into more later, we can do those releases now. And you know, it's all about maximizing how many opportunities we're taking now that we have the freedom to do that, while still of course remaining within that respectful boundary that we have been in that has gotten us to this point. So yeah, very exciting stuff. And
Wait!
There's more. Hang on to your seat, baby, cause this one's a screamer.
I don't want to hype it up too much. I'm going to keep it very low, keep it simple, keep the expectations down. This was just a passing statement. It's something that wasn't really discussed in any detail, but that there was an openness to the idea. It could happen in 10 years, it could happen in 2 years, it might not happen at all. But there is a potential that we may be able to work directly on the code base and give this game the community renaissance 15 years later, which I think is just incredible, and I will be putting a lot of effort into trying to make that happen. But there is stuff that still needs to be done on our end here. So, while we're supposed to be talking about it, why don't I jump into that part of this dev diary?
I need you, Frank. It's serious. I'm putting together a team.
Then I'm in.
Now that we have this blank check and the potential to go even further, it is up to us to succeed in executing this development. Many other communities have had similar opportunities before. Some of them have squandered it, and others have skyrocketed with it. But at the end of the day, it shows just how powerful a community united can be. And if that doesn't allude to it already, because this mod, the SDK, the work we've been doing has been for you guys, for the community, and well, technically for us too, because we're part of that community and we also love this game, but you know what I mean, it only makes sense that we develop it as a community. So with that, we are officially opening the doors development of the co-op mod. And while we do have specific positions that we need filled, because we literally cannot proceed without those things getting done, apply anyway. Let us know what stuff you're comfortable with. Do not get intimidated by that initial list. If you're a person who loves the game, you know each level inside out, you may know what works well in co-op, or you may have ideas about what cool things could happen with co-op. If you're a modeler, you're a level designer, you know the might and magic lore inside out, you like to draw, anything. Do not be scared. You never know what you need until you see something that you didn't have. So do not put yourself down.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
With some quality control in mind here, we will obviously do our best to maintain that standard. But above all, I want to make sure that we are not only satisfying what the community wants, but also making sure that we continue to be involved in this together. Because in all honesty, this would be the first sort of open invitation to this development process that we're having here, and things might change in the future, or we may, you know, we'll work it out together basically. And I think that this is just the best way of doing that, that we just get involved with each other. So that link, that will be in the description of this video, and I'll also pin a comment about that. By all means, again, do not be scared to apply. I'm going to leave a nice field open where you can write to your heart's content, and we'll work out that stuff. But I'm very excited for it. I'm a little scared, but I am excited. I'm scared not because we're going to do a bad job, but because I'm scared that I may have to say no to some people because we either just are really going to be booked on what we can really add into this, or we may just not have a need yet. But again, really just get that in. I know it kind of undercuts what I just said, but you see, I'm trying to really be transparent about this and say that we do still want to hear from you, and let us try and work with you. That's all I'm asking. But yeah, that was a big thing that I wanted to get out. And now that that's out, I also want to discuss a little bit about the philosophy shift that we've had as we got this news, and talk a bit more about that RTX mod. So why don't we get into that briefly, and then we can close this video out and really get to work. The main driving force behind making the SDK has always been the fact that we, and I mean that as everybody in the community I'm pretty sure, want mods for this game. And it's not just because mods are cool, but because we want more from this game. We love this game. We want to keep playing it. We want to have that creative freedom to be able to change it up and experience new things out of a game we already love, right? You can change weapons, you can add things, remove things, you can do a whole refactoring of it, make it a completely new thing. All of that would be possible, but with Dark Messiah, as we all know, there's only mapping tools. You only really make levels and models technically, but there's not a lot you can do with that, right? And none of this is new. I've always said this when I discuss the SDK. That is why we're doing it. But the reason why I highlight it is because when we are developing this, we see those messages on Twitter or X or whatever the hell it might be next, Knockout, Discord, all that stuff. We've seen that people want it. They're already asking, when can I start using it? What can I do with it? There's a real excitement for it. And since we have that blank check from Ubisoft, it only makes sense that we start trying to deliver things to those people too.
And we give it back to you, the people.
The philosophy shift here is that while we are developing this SDK for a grander purpose, obviously it will have much more encompassing features in it. If we can send out just a couple of toolkits, even small ones, just to get the ball rolling, that would be enough to start introducing that workflow of mods coming into Dark Messiah and starting to change things up a little bit, which is why we started working with the RTX mod and how we could maybe release it as a toolkit instead of basically keeping it to ourselves and constantly developing it in parallel with stuff. And then it's like, well, now you got 9 different projects. We want more modders. We all want more modders. So why stop people from modding it? And so while we are developing those things in parallel, we will be releasing more and more little toolkits just to get the ball rolling, like I said, and we'll be working with those people, taking that feedback in. So if you have any ideas of little cool things that, it may not be the biggest thing, but be really cool if we could do this right now, I would love to hear that, because that would definitely drive us forward into what parts of the SDK can we pull out, and on top of that, give us the ability to test those things out too. Because realistically, all that stuff does get put back in the SDK at the end, right? So it's a win-win here. You get more gameplay, we get more feedback. Boom.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
All in all, I'm hoping you guys could see exactly why I was so excited in the intro to talk about this stuff. It's definitely a good time to be developing Dark Messiah, for me at least, because it's just been a lot of good stuff that can help me move forward with everything. And what can I say? I apologize for being late with these updates. I did see the comments on the ModDB page and sometimes even the Discords ask if the mod is dead or if the thing is released yet. And there's always something that delays the development, and it's like, well, I could just release it as it is, or I could make sure that this one thing is very nice and then suddenly the next thing has to be nice, the next thing, like even for example in this dev diary I was using Sony Vegas, or just Vegas now technically because it was bought out, and then I switched to DaVinci Resolve, and I like this video editing software, but obviously I had to reset a lot of things and sort of get used to the platform as a whole. Either way, I of course hope you have a great day, or a great night, whatever it is. In fact, I hope you just have a great amount of time between whatever now is and then the next dev die. We're basically going to regenerate the good times all the way forward. And I appreciate everybody who's been supporting us. You know, it means a lot. Like I said before, it really helps us push through all this stuff. And I appreciate anyone who has survived this long into the video. You're probably the real champion here. And I'm now going to free you of that. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.